Hello and welcome to another Spaceking tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to create a rigged Minecraft character in Blender. Now if you're watching this after I posted the original tutorial, you'll know that it was in 240p. I screwed up my disk when I was recording it, and I accidentally deleted the original file, and I could only get the cache file back, and it was in 240p, and then it was really hard to watch because the frame rate was terrible and the low quality. You couldn't see what button I was pressing. So if you're someone who's already seen it, I'm sorry. I'm re-recording this because I got a lot of people telling me in the comments to do an HD version. So I'm back here doing it. The other reason is the rig that I created in that tutorial wasn't exactly the best rig ever created. There were a bunch of mess ups, and when I was trying to record the next part, the part where we actually animate Steve, it was really difficult, and I've learned a little bit about rigging since I recorded that. So here we are again. We're going to redo it, and hopefully it goes well this time. Anyway, let's get started. So we're going to start by adding a default cube. Let me just turn on my screencast keys. Default cube, Shift A, add, mesh, cube, and then we're going to tab into edit mode, and using control to snap it to the grid, I'm just going to drag it until it is one Minecraft unit long, wide, and high. So this is going to be Steve's head. I'm just going to snap it to the geometry. Now I'm going to actually load in a background image so I can get my proportions correct. I am going to be using... No, that's not it. Wait. This. Steve. This is going to be the texture that we use, but since it has all the proportions, we can use it as a scale reference as well. So I'm just going to position this so that Steve's head is right here, and we're going to scale it down until it's one unit tall, right about there-ish. Okay. And now we have his head as a reference, and it's all lined up. So now we're going to move on to his body, and all I'm going to do for his body is Shift D to duplicate this base part of the head, right click to cancel the movement, and go to wait, I'm already at right, and we're going to use this side right here as our scale reference. So we're going to just move this over right there, scale it along the y-axis so it's a little thinner, and then extrude it downwards to make the torso. Alright, now I feel like that's a little bit too skinny, so even if the scale isn't completely perfect, I'm just going to make it a little wider. Right? Okay, so let's go back to front view and make sure this all lines up nicely this way, and it does. Okay, good. So now we're going to create the arms, and the arms are the exact same width as the body. I'm just holding Alt to deselect that. I'm just going to duplicate this, Shift D, right click again to cancel, and move it along the x-axis. The only difference between the body and the oh wait, I did make the body a little bit too long, because this part right here is actually the top of the torso. So we're going to grab both of these and move them up right about there. Okay, so that lines up now, and those are all the correct proportions. Okay, so we have an arm here, and that looks about the right scale to me. So we're going to just simply Control Alt to select the linked vertices, Shift D, and then I'm going to actually snap this to the vertex. So we're going to change the snap type to vertex, and I'm just going to hold down Control and then it doesn't snap correctly. That's because it does the closest vertex to it. So we're going to move this, position it there, then grab it again and snap, and there it goes. So we've got an arm which is not correctly lined up because it's snapped to the face. So we're just going to do that again. And now we can move on and create the legs. So for the legs, it's essentially the same thing as an arm, except, yeah, it's actually the same length. So we're going to grab it and snap it. Same thing as before. And I'm just going to grab these two vertices here. Scale x0, so they are in the same position. And while this creates doubles, we're going to remove them later, so we don't have any issues with modifiers and stuff. But for now, we're just going to keep them together. And then we're going to add an edge loop along the head and an edge loop along the torso. And we will then grab these two vertices on the bottom here and then move them slightly apart so they don't get removed when we remove doubles. All right. And then we're going to delete this face right here because it's hidden, and it will once again cause issues once we are starting to skin this guy. All right, and we're going to move the arms out as well because we don't want them getting messed up. Actually, we might as well just mirror this because it'll make the rigging easier when we're mirroring it. We don't have slightly different positions for the arms. So just gonna delete that. Shift-D, right-click, Control-M to mirror it, X to mirror it along the X-axis, left-click to confirm it, move it along the X-axis once more, then pull it back and snap. All right, and now let me just make sure I don't have any hidden faces here, which I don't believe I do, but I might. Nope, it all looks good. So we're ready to move on now and start adding some textures. So Shift-Control-Alt-C origin to geometry, just so I can have a regular origin point. And we're going to position this guy, selection to cursor, and we're going to move it up and position it right there. All right. So his feet are on the floor. So now we're going to bring in this texture here and actually apply it to the model. But before we do that, we're going to turn on bitmaps, because turn off bitmaps in the viewer, because that will make the texture blurry, and like this background here, because the texture is actually 1 pixel is 1 pixel in this texture. And while that may that's good for creating textures, we're gonna have to apply this to a 3D model, and textures in 3D models tend to get in Blender will get interpolated between each pixel, so it's smoother. That's fine when you've got a lot of pixels to deal with, but when there aren't any, it just looks blurry and messy and ugh. So we're gonna just remove this background image because it's starting to bother me now. And make sure to go to your user preferences, turn off bitmaps. All right, so now that you know how to do that, we can actually start unwrapping this guy. So I'm just gonna go to UE editing because it makes things slightly simpler. Whoops. And we're going to open. Actually, we don't need to open it because it's already in our buffer. So just select it from our open images. And now you can see it's not blurry when it's applied to Steve, which is awesome. All right, so you unwrap, and that will create an absolute mess. So for now, scale 0 and just position it. So we're going to now unwrap each section at a time. Before we do, you'll see that half of his face is missing, and then when we rotate, it looks like an optical illusion. That's because our normals are screwed up. So we're going to tab into edit mode, press Control N, and it will fix that. Normals are the direction a face is facing because it's not two-sided, it's one-sided. And the reason it got flipped was we used the mirror tool, Control M, and that scales it -1, which will flip all the faces. And it flips the faces around, mirrors them, but it also messes up the normals, so you just have to recalculate them. Okay, so now we're going to start with the face. So select these vertices here and press U, unwrap. And then all we have to do now is scale it and position it to be in the same spot as Steve's face. Okay? And my zoom is all screwed up, so let me just get it all fixed up. Okay. You know what? I'm going to just make it local view. Local view. Okay, there it is. And that will fix up all our zooming issues. Okay. So that's his face. Now we're going to do the one side of his face. So we're going to select these parts, U, unwrap, and position this right here. Or is it this side? No, it's this side. Do the same for the other side. U, unwrap, scale it, position it, rotate it 180 degrees because it's flipped. And then grab the right side. Okay. And now all we have to do for the head, is the back and then the bottom too, which is this section right here. Okay, so that's the back of the head. U, unwrap, scale it, position it, and there we go. Rotate 90 degrees. All right. And then, and the top. Because it has a little bit of variation in the pixels on that texture, so it looks better. All right. Select the bottom. U, unwrap, scale, and position it. Okay. Onto the body. We're going to select the torso, the front face for the torso. And actually, I'm going to just go into face mode because it makes it slightly easier. You unwrap and position it right here. And it looks like our scales lined up pretty well, which is good. And I'm just seeing a little bit of texture bleeding right here, which is bothering me. So I'm just going to scale it in a little more. Same for this guy. And you'll notice Steve doesn't have a face, and that's because when I originally created this texture, I didn't actually create the entire texture. It's a skin that I downloaded. But when I edited it later so that I could add a face here. And if you're interested in adding a face to Steve and doing some facial animation and stuff, which I will have to study up on a little bit before I make a tutorial on, but if you're interested in that, make sure to let me know. I'm not sure if that's really a priority though, because for now we're just trying to create the Minecraft scene. Although I might show you how to make the face rig. Alright, just make sure this bottom has no texture bleeding, even though it doesn't matter as much as the top two. Scale it in. There we go. Okay. Select the back. You unwrap. Right there. and top of the torso. We're gonna just hide the head for now, so you can see the top here. You unwrap. I just pressed L to select the linked vertices under my cursor. Okay, so our scale didn't match up for the width of Steve here. So I might actually just scale it in a little bit and get that lined up. A little more. You unwrap. Scale. Alright, close enough. I'm just going to cheat a little bit and scale along the X and Y axes. Okay, good. Now we can select the torso and hide it. We missed two sides though, so I'm just going to hide those because we already unwrapped them. Let's get the front arm, you unwrap, scale. And the arms are this part right here because Steve's wearing a t-shirt. Make sure to get the lighter one because the darker one is for the inside of the arm. In fact, if you want, you could go in and remove all lighting from the pixel texture because Blender can do it itself. I'm going to leave it because it doesn't really change too much. And then this little section right here is Steve's hands, which look horribly disformed. So we're just gonna quickly get that one done. All right, and grab this part, you unwrap. You're getting the gist of this by now, I assume. So just position this one here. Oops, some texture bleeding right there. So scale it in a little bit. Okay. The back of the arm, which is this one, I think. Okay. And I'm just gonna flatten these. W, align Y. W align Y, W align X, or straighten line X. Okay. So there we go. We've got an arm almost done. Let's grab that hand and I'll hide it all. This is the shoulder, which is this part right here. You unwrap, scale. And you can actually use your own custom skins for this. I'm just using the default Steve because it's the most recognizable. But most of the time, I mean, most Minecraft animations aren't about Steve himself. They're generally about characters that are put in Minecraft situations. Or, well, Minecraft, period. This is the inside of the arm, so we're going to just pick a darker one. Okay, hide that. That's the inside of the body, which is right here. There have been some pretty impressive Minecraft animations done in Blender, actually. I forget who did it, but if you search for Minecraft, I think it was Modern Warfare 3 or something. Someone did an animation for that one. And they also did an animation for Assassin's Creed 3, which was my favorite. So that there. Top of the shoulder once more. Okay. So hide this face, hide that face. And you may not be able to see your textures immediately, and if you aren't able to see them, go to your properties. Well, either go into Alt-Z textured mode, or if you scroll down, you can actually view them in your regular whatever mode is this, solid mode. If you check texture solid in your preferences here. I probably should have said that earlier, shouldn't I? Whoops. Okay. Oh, textured mode 2. You can view that in there. That's a new feature. So, oh no, it's not. There's another one. There's maybe it wasn't in cycles before, because I remember there was a new oh, it's materials. It's materials. When you're using cycles, there's a way to view your materials without rendering, which is pretty cool. And to straighten these, you can use scale X 0, or you can use, well, for that one it was scale X 0, or you can use W align. Does the same thing. Put that there. Okay, hide that face. You unwrap. Align Y, align Y, align X, align X. Okay. I haven't been able to post too much recently. I've been super busy with school. I've been working on a few other projects, which I probably will be announcing at some point. And I've been distracted by Robocode, which, if you don't know what that is, that's a programming game where you code robots that go and blow each other up. Pretty awesome. I'm thinking of doing a tutorial on it, because that's what I've been doing a lot of recently, and I've learned a fair bit about it. I've also been programming in Lua, in the Lua game engine a lot, for something that I might be announcing. And if you've watched this part here, I'm impressed. Very few people last more than like 15 minutes. So thanks for watching. Let's get this all lined up. Okay. Let's see, that's the back of the leg. Doesn't really matter which one you use, but I just like to use this one because it looks like there's a crease behind the knee. I'm going to use this one for that leg. There we go. Okay, I'm just noticing now that we've got some missing bits right here. The alpha is showing through because I positioned this a little bit too far down. So there. Grab these again and hide them. Hide those. You unwrap. Okay. Right here. And then we'll hide that. And then we'll grab this one, you unwrap. Scale X, scale Y, scale Y. No, this is the back, so we want to use that one. And then I forget. Oh yes, there's a shoe. The shoe or foot part is right here. You can just leave it at the default scaled there, but I'm just gonna do it for completeness sake. Okay, hide that. You unwrap, scale, position it right here, and hide it. Okay, the inside of the leg is gonna be this one. We're almost there, we almost have it. You unwrap, scale, 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 hide. Alright, and you. Oops, I accidentally split it there. Don't want to do that. You unwrap, scale. This is the left part of the leg, so I'm just going to grab that one. Make sure it's not going to bleed. Alright, hide, and just fix this last one up. Boom. Okay, and there we go. I'm gonna hide everything, and we have a textured Steve. Okay, and so much texture painting, so much. All right, there we go. And I'm actually going to split this into two sections. This first section is going to be the modeling of Steve, and the second section is going to be the rigging stuff. So, because that's going to take a while, and there are a few things I want to go into detail about there. So, for now, we're going to leave it at this. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel. And I've got a new channel that I just started called the Ninja Charlie. YouTube.com/official Ninja Charlie. I post gaming videos, and I'm probably going to post like reviews about movies and stuff on there too. So make sure to check that out. I'll have an annotation here, maybe, if I remember to add it. Okay, thanks for watching, and we will see you all later.